Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into one of the most fascinating and powerful stories from Africa, the legend of the San Bushmen, a story of survival. This is not just a tale about ancient people or forgotten tribes. It's a living story, one that carries the voice of the first people of Africa. The San, also known as the Bushmen, whose connection to the land, animals, and spirit of nature runs deeper than anything most of us can imagine. Long before cities, borders, or modern civilization, the San people walked the vast lands of southern Africa. They were hunter-gatherers who roamed the deserts and savannas, following the rhythm of the earth. Every rock, every tree, and every gust of wind held meaning for them. They believed that life was not something to be conquered, but something to live in harmony with. Theirs was a world where man, nature, and spirit were all bound together by respect and understanding. The San people are believed to be among the oldest living cultures on Earth, their history stretching back tens of thousands of years. Their rock paintings etched and colored across caves and stone walls tell stories of their hunts, their gods, and their way of life. These images are not just art. They are prayers, memories, and lessons passed down through generations. They show us how the San saw the world, full of magic, danger, and deep wisdom. In their stories, animals play a sacred role. The eland, for example, was not just a creature to hunt, but a symbol of strength and spiritual power. When a hunter brought down an eland, the people didn't just celebrate food, they celebrated life itself. They believed that the spirit of the eland would bless the hunter and bring balance to the tribe. Every hunt was done with ritual, respect, and gratitude. Taking a life for the San meant giving thanks to the earth that sustained them. But survival for the San was never easy. They lived in some of the harshest environments on the continent, from the burning sands of the Kalahari to the dry plains of Namibia and Botswana. Water was scarce, and food could be difficult to find. Yet the San developed incredible knowledge of their surroundings. They could track animals across vast distances just by reading the faintest footprints in the sand. They knew which plants could heal wounds, which roots held water, and how to live where others would perish. Their survival depended not only on skill, but also on unity. Every member of the group had a role to play. The men hunted, the women gathered fruits and roots, and the elders shared wisdom through stories around the fire. They were a community built on sharing and equality. No one went hungry if another had food. This way of life, simple yet profound, kept them alive for millennia. One of the most beautiful parts of the San legend is their spiritual connection to the unseen world. They believe in a powerful energy called N/M, a life force that flows through every living thing. Through trance dances, the San healers would enter a state of deep connection with the spirit world. Their bodies would tremble, their hearts would race, and they would call upon the ancestors to bring healing to the sick or peace to the troubled. These rituals were not just about health. They were about maintaining balance between the human and the spiritual world. The San also tell stories of a trickster god named Kagan, often represented as a praying mantis. Kagan is both creator and troublemaker, wise and foolish, good and mischievous. He teaches lessons through his mistakes and his adventures. In one story, he creates the eland, his favorite animal, but his impatience causes it to run away. In another, he teaches the people how to hunt, how to dance, and how to respect the spirits. Through Kagan, the San remind us that wisdom can come from failure, and that even chaos has its purpose in the circle of life. Yet as centuries passed, the San people faced struggles greater than drought or wild beasts. When other tribes migrated across southern Africa, the San were often pushed off their ancestral lands. Later, when European settlers arrived, the situation became even worse. They were hunted, enslaved, and displaced, treated as less than human in their own homeland. Many were forced to abandon their traditions, their languages, and their ways of life. The deserts that had once protected them now became prisons of isolation. Despite these hardships, the spirit of the sand did not die. Their culture survived through whispers, through stories told under starlit skies, through the songs of mothers and the markings on cave walls. Even when the world around them changed beyond recognition, they held onto the belief that the earth remembers those who love it. Their story became not just one of endurance, but of resilience, a symbol of what it means to survive with dignity, even when everything is taken from you. Modern researchers and anthropologists have learned so much from the sand, not just about history, but about life itself. They've discovered that the sand's way of tracking animals is so advanced, it's almost like reading nature's language. Their understanding of ecosystems, weather, and wildlife is so precise that even scientists use it to learn about climate change and biodiversity. What's remarkable is that all of this knowledge comes from deep observation and intuition, not from books or machines. Today, many sand communities still live in parts of Botswana, Namibia, and South Africa. Some continue their traditional way of life, while others have had to adapt to the modern world. Yet, even in change, their stories remain alive. They remind us of a truth that the modern world often forgets, that we are not separate from nature, we are part of it. The San lived by this truth, and that's what allowed them to survive for thousands of years. The legend of the San Bushmen is not just an African story, it's a human story. It's about the connection between people and the planet, between past and present, between survival and spirit. Their legends show us that wisdom does not come from wealth or technology, but from humility and respect for life. When the San say that the earth speaks, they mean it literally. The ground, the wind, and the animals all have voices if you know how to listen. Imagine sitting beside a San elder as he traces his fingers across the sand, showing the path of an antelope that passed hours ago. To him, those footprints are a language. They tell him the animal's age, its speed, its direction, and even its mood. To us, it might look like empty sand, but to the San, it's a living story written by nature's hand. That is the kind of connection they have with the world, intimate, respectful, and profound. Even their laughter holds meaning. Around their fires, they tell stories that make them laugh, cry, and think. Their tales are full of wisdom lessons about greed, kindness, and courage. They believe storytelling is not just entertainment, but a sacred act that keeps the past alive and teaches the young how to live rightly. To lose their stories would be to lose their identity. One story tells of a great drought that tested the San. The rivers dried up and animals disappeared. The people prayed to the spirits for rain, but none came. It was then that a young boy, guided by a dream, followed a honeybird across the desert. The bird led him to a hidden spring beneath a rock. When he struck the stone, water gushed out and saved the tribe. The elders said the spirits had rewarded his faith and courage. That story is still told today, a reminder that even in the darkest times, hope can be found if you follow the signs of nature. These legends, while ancient, carry timeless messages. They teach patience, gratitude, and harmony. They show that survival is not just about strength, but about balance, knowing when to move, when to rest, when to fight, and when to yield. For the San, the desert was not an enemy. It was a teacher. Every sunrise brought a lesson, every storm carried wisdom. Today, as we face global challenges, climate change, loss of nature, and disconnection from the world around us, the San story feels more relevant than ever. They remind us that humanity's survival depends on respecting the earth. We may have advanced technology, but without the humility that the San carried in their hearts, we risk losing the very world that sustains us. The San Bushman's story is not a relic of the past. It is a living testament to resilience and wisdom. Even as their lands shrink and their traditions face threats, they continue to pass down their songs, their dances, and their stories. In every word they speak, there is a whisper of the ancient world, a call to remember who we truly are. Their legend ends not with defeat, but with survival. Against all odds, the San remain a bridge between the ancient and the modern, between man and nature. Their story teaches that to survive is to listen, to respect, and to live in harmony with the world that gave us life. And so, as we close this story, let us carry a piece of the San wisdom with us. Let us remember that every step we take on this earth leaves a mark, just like the footprints in the Kalahari sand. And maybe, if we walk gently enough, those who come after us will still find a living world to call home. Thank you for watching. If you found this story inspiring, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more tales that connect us to the roots of humanity. The San Bushmen story reminds us that the greatest legends are not just told, they are lived.